2 a.m. is not a pleasant time to be woken up. You're with me, right? Today I am answering your sleep question: how do I get my 15-month-old to stop having 2 a.m. parties? And in this video, I'm going to explore what might be causing a 15-month-old to be up and about at 2 a.m. and some things you can do about it, so stay tuned. But first, tell me in the comments, how are your little ones sleeping? Are you up millions of times a night? Does your little one think that the middle of the night is party time? We would love to hear from you, and we will reply to everybody who asks us questions below. But before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Nicky. I have 3 beautiful children, and I am one of the founders of a company called Little Ones. At Little Ones, we specialize in infant and toddler sleep solutions. We have developed a set of comprehensive sleep programs which are accessed through our mobile app and which are now being used by over 200,000 families worldwide. We know firsthand the serious effects that sleep deprivation can have on a family. And so we developed Little Ones and our sleep programs because we believe that everyone deserves sleep. We would love to come on your family's sleep journey with you. So let us and our certified sleep consultants help you by visiting www.little-ones.co. All right, let's look at your 15-month-old child. At 15 months, your little one is really in the throes of a big nap transition. This is one of the hardest nap transitions too, where they're going from 2 naps a day down to just 1 nap a day. And depending on the nap structure that your little one has, depends on the severity of this transition. So if your baby is still having 2 pretty big naps a day at this age, then that in itself is probably causing these 2 a.m. wakes. If your little one is, say, having an hour and a half sleep in the morning and then an hour and a half in the afternoon, that is simply too much sleep now at this age, unfortunately, and it's likely that their afternoon nap is happening too late in the day. They are simply undertired. They're not tired enough to have a nice long restorative sleep overnight. Hate to break it to you, but it's time to cut down to 1 nap. Now, if you're already cutting down to 1 nap, or if you have cut down to 1 nap, the timing of this nap can have a massive impact on your little one's nighttime sleep as well. If you're down to 1 nap and it is happening any earlier than around 12 p.m. midday, then it's probably that your little one is reaching bedtime at night overtired, and that could be causing the 2 a.m. wake. So what I would recommend for a 15-month-old baby is to be napping around 12 to 12:30 for 2 to 2.5 hours, then aiming for a 7 p.m. bedtime. Anything outside of that, which is our really tried and tested nap structure at this age, anything outside of that is likely to be contributing to that 2 a.m. wake. The problem with a wake of any kind like this overnight, depending on however it started, is that it really quickly forms a habit wake. Habit wakes are formed in your little one's body like you're setting an alarm clock. They can be triggered by communication, by light, sunlight, and by food or nutrients, or any and all of those things. So whatever reason your little one first started waking at 2 a.m., overtiredness, undertiredness, maybe simply there was something in their sleep environment that was bothering them. Maybe they were getting cold at 2 a.m. for a couple nights in a row. All it takes is a couple of nights, and then it's like a little alarm clock has been triggered inside your child's body. They are going to continue to wake at that same time. This is how you know it's a habit wake in children over 6 months old, because it happens at the exact same time. Like, you might think to yourself, I could set an alarm by this. That is literally what it is, an alarm. If you're dealing with a habit wake in a child this age, first I would address perhaps why it's happening, which could be something to do with their daytime nap structure in the most likely scenario. Then you're going to have to get rid of that habit, unfortunately. The best way to get rid of this habit wake is simply to not feed the habit. So as I mentioned, there are things that trigger or feed a habit wake: communication, nutrients, and sunlight or light. So going in and turning on a light, trying to reason with your child or talk to them is giving them 2 of those big body clock triggers. So what I would recommend, there are a couple of different things you can do here depending on how comfortable you are with any amount of crying or protesting from your little one, is I would be going in, keeping the room pitch black, keeping it in their sleep environment. Say your sleep time phrase, which hopefully you're using at bedtime as well, something like, it's sleep time now. Maybe you lay your baby back down and you walk out. You might need to do this 1,000 times to start with, and eventually they're going to learn that they're not getting a response, they're not getting food, they're not getting, you're not turning on the light and playing with them, you're not stimulating them by getting them out of their bed, putting them back in, picking them up, rocking them. All of these stimulating things which are actually encouraging them to continue to have that habit wake. You make it boring, you make it simple, you simply lie them back down. They're not getting any cue from you that it is okay that they should be getting up and having this party. Another little trick to deal with a habit wake is what we call rouse to sleep. It sounds terrifying when I explain it, but it really works. So if you know your child is going to wake at a set time, and it's that habit wake we talked about, say 2 a.m, you set your own alarm clock for half an hour, 45 minutes before that habit wake. You go in while your child is still asleep, you touch them, you sort of pat them, you rouse them very gently so that they'll stir in their sleep. They might roll over, they might grumble, but they don't wake up, and then you leave them. And what that basically does is it pushes them out of one sleep cycle and into another. And theory behind it is that they then, it'll kick off a whole new sleep cycle session, and they will sleep through the time of that habit wake. You're essentially sort of sidestepping the habit wake. After a couple nights of this, and when they don't wake at that same time, then you know that it's worked and you can probably leave them alone. This method, I mean, if you know your child's gonna wake anyway, there's no real harm in you preempting it to try and get rid of it. If you're probably going to be up with them in any case. So that gives you a couple of different ways to try and get rid of that habit wake if you're not really into a 2 a.m. party with your toddler, which I definitely would not be. A couple other just really simple things you can do to help night times in general with your toddler is I would be looking at having their room really nice and dark. Nothing in there that's bright or stimulating. If they do wake up at 2 a.m. and they can see musical mobiles and toys and things, of course they're going to want to stay awake and interact. Make it dark, cozy, flick on some white noise if you want to go back to or start using white noise. It helps with children at any age. My 7-year-old still prefers to, he doesn't have to, but he prefers to sleep with white noise on because it just helps him sort of tune out to the world and zone into sleep. So I hope that's given you a few ideas around what's causing your 15-month-old to wake up in the night at 2 a.m. Definitely their naps is the first place to start because that is the most likely and the biggest contributing factor to night waking at this age. From there, you can look at how you can address the habit wake if it is indeed a habit wake and if it's not sort of immediately corrected by fixing their nap structure. If you need a bit more help or a bit more one-on-one support, we would love to help you through it with our sleep programs, so make sure you check us out, www.littlenones.co. Well, thank you very much for watching. I love talking to you guys, and I'll talk to you again next week.